Hello, hi everyone. Welcome back to this course. Welcome back to the channel. And this is your Amandeep Singh. And continuing in this Python course, today we're going to be learning about variables and data types. So today's topic is variables and data types. So what are variables and what are data types? You got to learn first these two terms. So these are the fundamentals of any language, and let's understand it. Basically, in a program we have a certain data, we manipulate the data, we perform some type of operations and we generate some data. This is a typical program. Okay? And that data which we give to a program, so we have a program and we give it some data and it gives us some result. Okay? Now it is processed here. So we can say it's an information, some kind of information. Let's call it information, to be more specific. So it processes this data here. So this is your program machine, we can say. It gives you some type of information. Okay? This data has to be stored somewhere in the computer memory. It has to be stored somewhere in the computer memory. So the containers where the data is stored are called variables. So let's imagine this is the memory. This is the memory, and inside this memory we have these type of blocks, these containers where we can store the data. Cool, eh? So this is your memory. So these are the containers where you store the data. So let's say I stored 2. It's an integer data. I stored 3.5. I stored let's say my name, the first letter of my name, let's call it R. So these are the containers where I can store data. Cool, eh? So you know about data. What is the data? Unprocessed information. So we got some data, we process it using some programs, some operations, and we get some information from that data. Okay? The names given to these containers are called variables. So what is a variable? Name. Variables are containers which stores data. That is a variable. Like here, let's say this variable I name it as A. Then this, let's call it B. Let's just call it C. So A, B, C are variables. Cool, eh? Now what is a अपना क्या कहते हैं, so how do we declare variables in a Python program? So let's see. Let's move to the VS Code. Let's declare a variable which stores an integer. Let's call it A, and the integer is, let's say, 5. Let's create a variable which stores a decimal number. Let's call it B. Let's the number to be 3.5. Let's take another which stores a character. Okay. Now let's print A, print B. 5, 3.5. So this A is a variable which stores this integer data 5. B is also a variable which stores this integer data that is 3.5. Not an integer data but a decimal number or a floating point number. And in this fashion we store data in variables. So you got a basic idea of what a variable is. So basically a variable is a container. It's a container which stores data. Okay, so now let's move to the next thing, that is how we are supposed to deal with these variables. So now we have stored some data and we can process the data. So let's print something. Let's print the value, or let's take some meaningful data. Now the data can be a so when you say data, it can be a when you say data, it can be a integer. Think about a data. It can be a floating number, means integer means 2, 3, 4, floating means 2.3, 4.6, like this. Or it can be a string. What is a string? Like my name, a word. Now what is, then it can be a character. What is a character? A, @ dollar. These are characters. What else data we can have? Anything else? Boolean, true or false, switch case, 0 1 0 1, true or false, है ना? So that is called Boolean data. True or false. So when the switch is on, it's true. When it is off, it is false. Boolean means if we just want to store two possible types of data, like this variable. So there is a typical variable or a container. It can either store a true or a false. There are only two possibilities, है ना? Then that's why it is called a Boolean data type or a Boolean variable. So what are data types? Formal definition of data types. So what are data types? The formal definition of data types. Data types are basically data type represent the type of data we are storing in a variable. So let's say a typical variable A contains some data, we are unaware of it, it is hidden, let's say. And if I want to know what type of data it stores, then how can I find that? I can use type keyword for that. I can use type keyword, not type keyword, type function, keyword nahi hai, sorry for that. So in this type you will pass this A, this will return you the type of this A. Let's see how. So in this case I am going to print the type of A. I am going to print the type of B. So the first type of data, which is A, it belongs to the class integer. The second data, which is this B, it belongs to the class float. Let's take one more type of variable. C is equals to, let's say we store it R. Print type of C. str, so it stores string. Let's take one more data and let's store, not false, false. Bool, ठीक है, bool stands for boolean. Cool है? So that is how we can identify the type of a variable using this type function. Cool है? So I hope this thing is clear to you, what is a data type and what is a variable. ठीक है? Now one more thing which we should discuss here are how do we define, how do we nominate, how do we nominate the variables, how do we nominate the variables? So you cannot randomly name a variable and store some data in it. There are certain rules. So what are those rules? The first rule is they can contain small case, uppercase, small case letters, uppercase letters, है ना, and underscore. They can store, they can contain underscore. ठीक है. They can also contain digits. Second is should not start with a digit. ठीक है, कि जो वेरिएबल का नाम है वो किसी डिजिट से शुरू नहीं होना चाहिए. थर्ड, शुड नॉट हैव special characters. So what are special characters? Dollar, hash, @ these are special characters and you should not have. Then what else? Anything else? So these are the rules which one must follow while nominating the variables, है ना. These are the rules. If you break these rules, it will give you an error. ठीक है. And yeah, fourth, one more rule, should not be a keyword. The variable name should not be a keyword. So these are the rules which you should keep in mind while naming variables, while naming your variables. Now what the question is, what is a keyword? So keyword, these are reserved words in a language. So whatever language you are learning, it has certain words which are reserved, है ना. Because let's say a language has a lot of like क्या कहते हैं उसको, a language has lot of components. For instance, it has loops, it has variables, sorry, it has loops, it has क्या कहते हैं उसको यार, declaration parameters. For instance, let's say I want to declare in C, I want to declare float, so I will declare it like this, float a. That's how I declare a floating variable in C language or C++. ठीक है. Now this word or this thing, this float is a keyword here. This is a keyword here. Or let's say if I am writing a for loop for I in range, something like this, then this for is a keyword, this in is a keyword. Language already know what they stand for. ठीक है. So they cannot be identified as a variable. So do not use keyword names as variables. That is the rule number 4. And I'll share you, there's a proper list of keywords in Python. There's a proper table which you should avoid using as variables. So I'll share that table at the end of this or in the description of this video. You can check out those keywords which you should not use as your variable names. Okay, so now that's all for this one. I hope you got what are variables and how we can print variables, how we can let's perform a couple of calculations using these variables. So let's see. Let's say I want to add a and b. So print a plus b. It will give you 8.5. So the resultant is a floating number. Let's say print, if I add a with c, what it is going to give you? It will give you a type error. So check out this type error. What it says, a plus c. type error, unsupported operand type for plus, int and str. So for this plus operator, I cannot use integer on the one side and string on the other side. ठीक है. Let's typecast C into int. Now it is also not going to work, है ना. ठीक है. So we can add, so if we add this integer with this floating number, we will get a floating number. ठीक है. So what if I add a with d, a plus d? Will it work? It is working. A is 5, d is false. Let's turn it to true. What it is going to give you? It's going to give you 6. Means if it is a false, then false means 0 and true means 1. So if it is a true, 1 is added to a. Here it is automatically typecasted to integer. Cool है? Now these are some basics of how to declare variable, है ना? How to store data in those variables, how to print variables. We can also do it like this: print a comma b comma c comma d. Will it work? Yes. So let's take a meaningful program. So let's take name Raman. ठीक है. Then let's take my age 25. Let's take my role. ठीक है. Then what else? Print करते हैं. So age is not a, it's nothing but it's a variable. So let's print. कहते हैं कि my name is plus name and my age is 25. Let's see. Here my name is Raman and my age is 25. So notice that I'm adding here. So this is a string and then this is a string. So this is a string and this is a string. They are concatenated, they are added. This is also a string, they are also added. So this entire thing is added to this thing. My name is this Raman Pari and my age is this thing. Then this is not added. Then I use a comma and then I write the age. I can also do it with this name as well. Okay, cool hai? So I hope you got this thing and basics of and let's define the role. ठीक है, cool है. So I hope you got this thing, how we solve this problem, how we learn like what are variables, what are data types. Now these data types like you have to be very critical about these things and your basics should be very sharp. So I will attach the required files, required documents which are required to which I expect you to go through after you watch this video. ठीक है. And I expect you to go through those docs after you end watching this video, before you move to the next video, so that you have the basic informations on your tips. ठीक है. So that's all for this video. I hope you learned what are variables and data types from this video. I will see you soon in the next video. Till then, stay tuned with me and keep learning. Bye bye.